this is part 3, and we'll actually finish the pendant in this video, I promise. Okay, let's get started. So just working across these 2 wires here from the top, we're going to start with 3 wraps around that top wire. Push it all the way down, and then we're going to do 3 wraps around the 2 wires, a bit tricky to get to. Come up between those 2, and it's 3 wraps around the top wire. And we'll keep repeating that just down that side. We'll do about 8 repeats of that weave. So if you turn it over, it's so much easier to get to that weave. So just do it the other way. So you've got 3 wraps now around the bottom wire, 3 wraps around the 2 wires. And keep repeating that. It's much easier if you have the back facing you. So I've added that weave to both sides. I've done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've done about 10 repeats on each side. I need to cut the weaving wire tail ends off from the beginning and press those little cut ends down. And we'll bring it around and up. Oh. We'll do that with the other side. So we bring it down. We want it to come across, trying to keep it nice and flat. We bring it around. Really need to make sure it stays compressed together and out. So we've got these shapes. Pushing that in at the back. So Gracie snoring if you can hear loads of noise. So look over it once you've done that and try and level those up and get them to be like symmetrical with each other. So I'm going to add a few more weave repeats to get these up to reach sort of part way up the bail on each side. So I'm going to continue this weave up to about here on both sides. So I've added repeats to those weaves, and you do have to keep pushing them together. Shape the weaves to go out to the sides of the bails, and when the weaves are long enough, we can cut those wires. Like that. And then we take the top wire and that goes around. So we don't want to misshape anything. So carefully bending the end forwards a bit. And then I'm going to try and wrap it around so it comes through the bail. Be careful not to push these wires together or you'll squash your weave. So you have to be careful with it. Send it all the way around. We can cut that off at the front and press that into place there. So then we need to do that with the other side. So have a look at the heights and try and match it up so it's level, and take the top wire and take that around the same. So I've done that side there, and then this second wire is going to come around, go over the top and then through and around the bail on that side. More posting around, you can just curl that, you know. You can just curl it if you want to. Shall we just curl it instead? It'll be a lot easier and quicker. So scoop it around. So it's going to come over that one. Try and cut it to be the same kind of length. Hard to hold it with all these wires sticking out. Keep getting stabbed. So then curl that wire around. I was going to post it through, but I think that's quite cute. And press it nice and flat against the bail there. And do that with the other side too. So with these bottom wires here and here, I'm going to do the same as we've done here going up. So I'm going to weave across both of them and then scoop them around both of them and bring them down like that. Then we can finish off these front wires. So we need to add a weave to both sides. So weaving over those two wires on the side there, we'll have the same weave as before. So we do 3 wraps around the bottom wire, slide it all the way along, and then 3 wraps around the 2 wires. We need to do roughly the same amount. What was that, 10 was it? So let's do 10 and see where we... So I've done about 10 repeats of that weave. I suppose we need to cut that off now while we can still get to it. So cut the tail end from the beginning of that weave. And I'm going to bring it around. And over, so I'm twisting it around and over. Oh, the front there. Going to have a nice space in the middle between all these weaves where we can put a nice bead in there. So that was, I think that was 10 repeats. So I'm just going to add a few more to get to the edge of there, and then I'm going to weave the other side. So I'm going to cut this weaving wire. I think I'm going to leave a little bit just in case I change my mind, you know what I'm like. And then I'm going to add weaves to this side. So we turn it upside down. We need to start with 3 wraps around the top wire. Slide that down. And then we've got 3 wraps around the 2 wires. We're trying to start with the same amount. We'll do about 10, bend it around, and then add a few to get to the edge. So keep pushing it together as you go. So I've added the weave to the other side there. And we're going to bring that over the front. And around. Bringing it out to the side. And then we're going to try and match it up to the other side. My one side always goes a lot tidier than the other. So I'm going to pull it around with my pliers and try and match it up to that one. So I've bent that weave around and I've matched it up to that one. Get them nice and central. Match them up on the back, that helps how they sit to how they come around the same too. So I want my weave to come to the edge there on both sides. We'll cut the weaving wire from the beginning of those weaves and we'll leave those wires just for a moment while we work these 4 at the front. So we've got 4 wires coming out of the little stone, so they're the little wires, the thinner wires. I'm going to start with these right wires first. So we'll take the right one and I'm going to scoop it around to go around the other wire there, pushing it back a little bit at the base, out to the right. Take the next one because we can push them in a moment. I'm going to push it down at the base, scoop that one around too, and I'm going to bring that one around to go in the same direction, but I want it to sit within that other loop a little bit lower down so it's a bit smaller of a loop. So both those wires go out. And I'm going to bring these 2 wires around the same but lower down on this side. So I'm going to take the outer one and I'm going to scoop it around, but I want it lower down. And out to that side. And then this one is going to do the similar thing. Push it down, bring it around, and I'm going to try and get a smaller loop inside that one. Because the wires are thinner, they're a lot easier to bend around than the bigger wires. Just going to pull that down a little bit so it's not so high. We can push those back a bit now against the centre bit there. Taking those wires out to the sides. So let's finish off these weaves. Now we know how much space we've got. So make sure that both those weaves reach to the edge of the big weave behind it and then cut off those weaving wires. So then, holding that weave down at the front so it doesn't move, we're going to send these wires around. One wire is a lot longer than the other one. We're going to send them around the weave. So we're attaching it down. Check the position of the weave, because it may pull out of place as you pull these wires around. Just going to lift them up a bit at the back, get the angle right. And then when they're in place, give them a little squeeze. And we'll do that for the other side too. So I've sent those weaves around and pulled the wires through on both sides, and I've really tried to match up those sides. And what I'm going to do is just fold them over the back and cut them off. So when you fold them over, you need to pull them around, but make sure that they don't misshape on the front, and then you can press them down against that weave. These two wires I'm going to send around the weave too, so make sure it's all nice and central, and then holding that in place, that can go around the weave. Bending it up a little bit at the back to correct the angle on the front. We'll do the same to the other side. So I'm going to cut the inner wires to be quite small. We're going to have little tiny curls on those. Because the wire's quite thin, we can do little tiny curls on there. So then we'll take these wires to the back there. And I think we're nearly done. So we just need to finish those wires off. So push it across the back. And because we've gone over that side and then over this side, we can just cut it and bend it straight over, squeezing it over the side of that weave there. And I'll do that with the other side too. So I've positioned a little 3mm bead there, and it's fitted quite well. So if you want to fit a bead there, have a look and see what kind of size would fit in the gap there. I've just passed the wires over the sides, and I'll just wrap them around and tie them off on the back there. What I might do is wrap them around and feed them back through to the front, and I may put another couple of beads here on the centre using the same wire. So I've wrapped once around each side, sure the bead is sat nicely in place, and then I'm going to post one of these wires back through to the front, and I'm going to add more beads. So I added a couple of beads, and all I did was I took my weaving wire up here inside and popped it through the front. I added the first bead, and then I went over the side and back through the middle, and I added the second bead, and I went back around the side across to the back, and I've just finished that wire around the single wire at the back there. Feel free to add as many or as little beads as you like. I'll cut off these weaving wire ends now, and don't forget to press down all your cut ends. So I'll run and oxidise, and I'll be right back. So there we have it, finished. That was a long one. I've oxidised mine. If you'd like help oxidising yours, I've done videos on oxidising and aftercare. I'll put links in the description below. I hope you managed to follow all the videos it was to make this one. I'd love to see what you've made. Please tag me if you share on social media. Please don't share images of the back or in progress, as it gives the design away. But you can share links to this video if you don't mind. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all very soon with the next one, which will hopefully be a lot shorter and simpler than this one. So I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye.